first, I've been trying my hand at vlogging tonight, video blogging. I was quite nervous actually when I started it. You film yourself doing something, and I sort of took a tour of the studio here and my machinery and tried to log on. But I didn't have my glasses on, so that was the first mistake to make. Traditionally, the domain of the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young one, isn't it? Demonstrating complicated makeup. Yeah, it's all about the contouring, isn't it? Comedy sketches and playing video games, as I've heard earlier tonight, and filming themselves doing it. Well, it's not just for the ambitious millennials, no. Joining me now is Scott Ree, and he is a YouTube sensation. Evening, Scott.
Good evening, Georgey.
Now, what do you do on your vlog, your video blog?
So basically, I run a traditional butchery and cookery channel.
Where from?
From my home in Worcester.
Right, and do you have a studio set up?
Well, yeah, I've been going about 4 years. Obviously, I started with very, very basic equipment, like we all do, with a camera the size of like a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you progress, you realise that if you're going to take it serious, you have to invest in equipment. So where I am now, after 4 years, I've got like a purpose-built studio in my garden in a shed. Doesn't sound very glamorous.
It sounds great.
It's brilliant. And if you was to walk in there, it's like a set from maybe a 1940s butcher. There's all advertising and old choppers and bits of equipment and paraphernalia. There's butcher's blocks in there, slicers. It's got a lighting rig and tripods.
My word.
It's pretty cool.
I'm a sucker for a man with a chopper, you know.
Oh, you know, they all say that.
And in terms of your butchery, were you a butcher first and foremost?
Yeah, well, I'm 45 in a month's time. I've been in the trade.
A baby.
Since, yes. Thank you for that. I like the young and bushy-tailed. I like that bit earlier. And I started in the trade when I was 15, so this will be my 30th year.
Oh my word! Yeah. And do you still work out of a butcher shop, or is it all about the vlogging?
No, believe it or not, I keep it real. I mean, it's that point now where the channel is doing phenomenally well, but I still work 4 days a week full time. So I was up at 4:30 this morning, in for work at 6. Doing the school run for my lovely daughter, and then, you know, come home and do a few bits and bobs on the channel. Yeah, it's very rock and roll.
Oh my word! And dare I ask, you know, the financial gain? I mean, is it quite a bit that you get from it?
I'm not going to lie to you, a couple of pound here and there, Georgie.
I think it's more than a couple of quid. When did you realise that it was going to be such a big hit, the butchery and the cookery?
Well, you know, every time I get asked this question, it started off really as I just do a video and just see what happens. And then it's like a natural progression. People watch it and you get like 100 or 1,000 hits. You go, wow, that's brilliant. And then I put a few more on. You start building up and then you think, well, maybe I've got some in here. But the reason I started this, obviously I turned 40 and I've worked with some great old guys who are sadly no longer with us, some proper true masters of the trade, you know, some real characters. And they took all these amazing recipes, techniques and skills with them. And I thought, I'm going to start this channel and, you know, catalogue them for posterity, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
And it just spiraled. I hit a niche, you know. And when you weigh up what, you know, I'm basically a small fry, I suppose, in the vlogging world. We've all heard of PewDiePie, you know. I'm more steak and kidney pie.
I like steak and kidney pie.
But I realised I hit on a niche, and like one of my biggest viewed videos is me butchering half a pig, and that's had 3 million views.
You are kidding me.
But when you weigh that up, and I've said this many a time, just people have sat, I mean, it's half hour long.
Yeah.
People said I've just gone into a trance.
Yeah.
Because what I would do is, I don't muck about. It's basically, you see me do it, and I'll talk you all the way through it. And people have I've even, believe it or not, had vegetarians say, you know, this is not my kind of thing, but that was just mesmerising.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
well, listen,
I
think it's wonderful. What's the next, you know, what are we looking forward to, the next vlog from you? What's up there now?
A few things up my sleeve. I do a lot of game butchery. but I've just done one where I've completely deboned a chicken without cutting the skin. I've basically tunnel boned it like a magician and pulled the carcass out, and it's just like this rag doll.
For my next trick.
Yeah, well, I've done some crazy stuff at Christmas. I stuffed, it was in all the papers all around the world, 15 birds into a turkey.
I think I remember you for doing that.
And
well
that's what
done.
I call culinary engineering.
Honestly, Scott, you're an absolute star. We've put you on my Facebook page and on Twitter as well. So if people want to take a look and listen to you, he is the Butcher, the YouTube sensation. Do you have a little name for yourself on the vlog?
It's the TheScottReaProject.
The TheScottReaProject.
Yeah,
so
all
look
one
out
word.
for you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Scott Ree, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, it's been wonderful, Georgey.
Oh, and for me too. Scott Ree's a butcher in the shed. I love it. And as I say, look for me at BBC Georgey tonight on Twitter and then on the Facebook page, and you'll be able to see Scott butchering.